Today's video is filled with all sorts of suspects and plot twists and witnesses, but by the end of this mystery, we should finally have the game plan to make your Disney cruise in 2025 the best one. This is going to be good. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we are here to solve a giant mystery today. The case of the perfect Disney cruise and how to pull it off. So put on your ace detective hats, team. This is film noir like never before. Yes, Bria and I are having some fun with this one. Are you ready? There is no time to waste. Okay, before we really get down to the bottom of this mystery, we've got to round out our list of ship suspects to see who could potentially be in charge of making your Disney cruise vacation perfect. The Disney Cruise Line DCL fleet is comprised of 5 world-class ships for now: the Disney Magic, the Disney Wonder, the Disney Dream, the Fantasy, and the Wish. The Magic will have Bahamian and Eastern Caribbean sailings throughout 2025. The Wonder started sailing to Australia and New Zealand for the first time in 24 and will do so again next year. The Disney Wonder also has South Pacific voyages for destinations like Fiji and Samoa. And throughout the summer, May through September, the Wonder is the only Disney cruise ship that offers popular Alaskan cruise itineraries. The Disney Dream will offer Northern and Western European sailings, Mediterranean sailings, and transatlantic voyages next year. And from October 2025 to May 2026, the Dream will also offer 3 to 5 night Bahamian sailings out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Meanwhile, the Fantasy primarily offers 7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean sailings departing from Port Canaveral. But in the summer of 25, the Disney Fantasy will sail the Mediterranean as well as Northern and Western Europe. These will be preceded by a transatlantic sailing in May 2025. Then from fall 2025 through spring, the Fantasy will offer 3 to 5 night Bahamian sailings. The Dream, Magic, and Fantasy also frequently pay a visit to Disney Cruise Line's new Bahamian island destination, Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. Now, the Disney Wish keeps things simple, sailing out of Port Canaveral and offering 3 and 5 night cruises to Nassau. Select cruises aboard every Disney ship will also take you over to Disney's private island, Castaway Cay. Now here's an ace detective tip. Every time you leave the ship to visit a port of call, make sure you take your ID and your stateroom key card with you. You'll need both of these to get back onto the ship, so don't leave them behind in the room. If you do happen to leave your key card back in the room on accident, you'll need to go to guest relations to have a new key card reissued. You can ask one of the cast members at the front of the ship out at port to help you pull this off, but this will deactivate your old key card, so don't worry about taking the first one along with you everywhere. When and if you find it again, its job is done. Now, if you are a Disney expert, which I know you are, you have already seen the plot twist. There are more suspects coming onto the Disney Cruise Line scene. The Disney Treasure will take its maiden voyage with passengers on December 21st, 2024, and become a ship that celebrates Walt Disney's lifelong love of adventure and travel. The maiden voyage of the Treasure will be a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise from Port Canaveral, Florida, followed by an inaugural season that'll offer 7-night sailings to the Eastern and Western Caribbean from Port Canaveral, including stops at Disney's Castaway Cay. This itinerary is going to continue through at least May of 2026. There'll be a lot of new offerings aboard this ship that you won't be able to find on the other 5 cruise ships, including the Plaza de Coco theatrical dining experience, park attraction themed lounges like the Haunted Mansion Lounge and the Jungle Cruise Lounge and the defunct 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea Lounge, a Zootopia themed candy parlor called Jumbo's Sweets, and the Tale of Moana Broadway style stage show. Then in 2025, we've got 2 more ships joining the DCL lineup. The Destiny will be a first of its kind ship design where you'll have to pick a side. Are you team hero or team villain? No matter which side you choose, you'll be able to sail aboard a ship that draws on the legacies of Disney stories and characters and theme park attractions, which we love. The Disney Destiny is going to sail its maiden voyage from Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on November 20th, 2025. Its first voyage will be a special 4-night cruise with stops at both of Disney's island destinations in the Bahamas, Castaway Cay and Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. After the maiden voyage, the cruise ship's first season will include 4 and 5 night cruises to the Bahamas and Western Caribbean. And finally, we've got the Disney Adventure, which will set sail on her maiden voyage out of Singapore on December 15th, 2025. We've been learning a lot about the Disney Adventure lately, and it's going to be revolutionary for Disney cruises. For starters, this will be the first Disney Cruise Line ship to sail from Singapore and throughout Southeast Asia, offering 3 and 4 night voyages. And then when it comes to theming and activities, you can expect the main atrium to be an enchanted Disney imagination garden. Tons of new restaurants themed around fan favorite Disney films like Monsters, Inc., Big Hero 6, Lilo and Stitch, and more. And here's the part we're really excited about: actual legit rides on the decks. This area will be called Marvel Landing and feature 3 different attractions: Groot Galaxy Spin, Pym Quantum Racers, and Iron Cycle Test Run, which will be the first ever roller coaster aboard a Disney Cruise Line ship and the longest coaster at sea at 820 feet in length. The ride will suspend up to 30 feet above the upper deck of the ship and will allow riders to test drive Tony Stark's Iron Cycle prototype. This investigation is really starting to heat up, but put away your cork boards and newspaper clippings and strings and pushpins for now, because we've got all the Disney Cruise Line details already listed out for you in our free Disney Cruise Line guide. Just scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or head to disneyfoodblog.com/cruise planning. We're going to hand over that important DCL case file stat. Okay, the tools. Every good mystery needs the right tools in order to help you solve it. Some might use a magnifying glass, others a blacklight flashlight. But what we need for this particular case is the handy dandy Disney Navigator app. The Disney Cruise Line Navigator app is an important and free asset that's going to help you manage your cruise reservations, both before and during your vacation. Before your vacation, the Navigator app's going to help you do things like make payments, book premium activities, and check into your stateroom as well. You can also add ground transportation or flight details to your Navigator app to have all your travel stuff kept in one convenient spot. And during the cruise, you can use this app to talk to cast members from multiple divisions, including guest services, port adventures, and the dining team right from your stateroom. You can communicate with members of your own group via the chat feature, track down your dining information, like where your table's going to be located and whether you've got first or second dinner seating, and which rotational restaurant you're going to be at each night. You can view menus of the restaurants and lounges. That's pretty much all I do the whole time I'm on a Disney cruise, is just look at the restaurant menu for the place I'm eating next. You can take a look at the various entertainment offerings and activities available, see the times for things like fitness classes and deck parties and the multiple theater shows, and maybe even engage in a fun interactive game like the Midship Detective Agency found on the Disney Fantasy and the Dream, or a Disney Uncharted Adventure found on the Disney Wish. Now it's time to set the scene for our mystery. During the Case of the Perfect Disney Cruise, you're going to need to know what to expect from your stateroom before you walk into it for the first time ever. There are 4 main categories of staterooms across each of the Disney ships: inside staterooms, ocean view staterooms, veranda staterooms, and concierge staterooms. The base accommodations are inside staterooms. These won't give you an exterior view, but if you're cruising on the Disney Dream or Fantasy, you'll have a magic virtual porthole that'll give you a digital look across the sea and give you the chance to see some popular Disney friends every now and then too. While these rooms typically sleep up to 3 to 4 passengers, they are tiny, so be prepared to really get to know the folks in your group. Typically, each room contains 1 queen bed or 2 twin beds, a single convertible sofa, and a split bathroom design. Here's another ace detective tip. You may not be able to use over-the-door hooks on your Disney cruise to help save space, but you can use the magnetized ones. The walls of your Disney Cruise Line cabin are all made of magnetized metal. Well, most of them are. So magnetized hooks are super useful when it comes to storage. Use them for your lanyards, your towels, your tote bag, your wet bathing suit, your bathrobe, everything. Then there are the ocean view rooms, which will provide a little more space than those standard inside staterooms, as well as scenic vistas through 1 large porthole window, or possibly 2 smaller porthole windows. Once again, these rooms sleep up to 3 to 4 passengers with the same amenities as the inside rooms, the main difference being those additional real porthole windows and a tad more wiggle room. Next up, you've got the veranda staterooms, which have even a little bit more room than the ocean view rooms, plus your own private outdoor deck. Some veranda rooms still only sleep up to 3 to 4 passengers, but if you book a deluxe veranda stateroom, these have even more space and can sleep up to 5 passengers per room. Is it comfortable? Not really, but you can sleep 5 people. In this extra space, the 5th sleeper option will be a twin Murphy bed that pulls down from the wall, and then you've got a twin Murphy bed that pulls down from the ceiling. Finally, we've got the concierge staterooms, which are the bougiest and the biggest staterooms, and of course, the most expensive. Depending on what concierge stateroom you book, your room could potentially sleep up to 5 people or 7 people. Or more if you're going to be staying in a room that's really luxurious, like the ones you'll find in the Wish Tower suite, for example. Concierge stateroom layouts can vary between ships, but no matter which one you book, most of them usually have a veranda and an option for an adjoining room. You're also going to find plush robes and slippers to use with your room and a fully stocked mini fridge with bottled water and soda. The concierge staterooms also receive 100 megabytes of Wi-Fi included with their room, so no need to shell out extra money for internet access, unless of course you're like me and you're working from the ship. And you'll also have access to what is referred to as the pillow menu, where you can choose what sort of pillow you prefer to have on your bed and how many. On top of that, concierge stateroom guests also receive lots of extra cruising benefits during their vacation, like exclusive lounge privileges. There's a concierge lounge for each ship, private tables for rotational dining, early access to activity reservations, and expedited check-in service, where you basically get to bypass the regular line when you get there and don't have to wait for a specific check-in window in order to board the ship. There's also an extra fancy little concierge lunch when you get on the ship that you can eat instead of going to like cabanas like everybody else. Here's another ace detective tip. When you're booking your stateroom, you'll have the option to choose where you want your rooms situated. So which stateroom locations are the best stateroom locations? It really depends on you. The middle of the ship and lower levels tend to have less rocking and rolling when you're sailing across the high seas. So if you're prone to motion sickness, the middle bottom portion of the ship might be your best bet. I also like to book a room that's relatively close to the elevator, but not too close. After all, the elevators get pretty busy with folks coming in and out of them all day long, so the staterooms that are too close to those elevators will be more prone to hearing that constant chit-chat from passengers and crew. And yet, if you're too far away from the elevators, it's like wrapping around a hallway maze just to get to where you need to go. We love ourselves a happy medium. So let's talk about your motive. What's the driving factor here that's going to make you want to solve this mystery? I think I can answer that one for you. It's going to be filled with fun. It's going to be so awesome, y'all. These cruises are such a blast. Now, no matter the Disney cruise ship you choose, you're going to be able to take part in a bunch of all-inclusive activities. Each Disney ship has pools and hot tubs, splash pads, water slides, water coasters. You've got that Broadway-style theater show and variety shows, theaters with brand new Disney movie screenings, entertaining dining experiences, which we're going to talk about more in depth later on, deck parties, character meet and greets, pirate nights that end in a big fireworks finale, and a variety of other onboard entertainment stuff that you'll find listed in your daily itineraries, trivia, arts and crafts, maybe even animal towel folding seminars. And then there are also the premium activities on board each ship, which are also fun, but going to cost you an extra bit on top of your stateroom price. These include adults exclusive dining, beverage tasting seminars, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and Pirates League, salons and spas, royal court tea parties or Olaf's Royal Picnic if you're on the Wish, and all sorts of port adventures, which will help spice up your time spent at your ports of call with additional tours and equipment or luxurious additions. Again, every ship has its own entertainment offerings that you can take advantage of, even beyond what I've listed out for you today. So you're going to want to look into your ship's specific activities and additions to see what specialty experiences you might be able to squeeze into your schedule during your time out at sea. And we've got another ace detective tip for you. Though it might be easiest and most convenient to book any of your port excursions directly through Disney, that's not your only option. Depending on where your port of call is, you can book third-party excursions, if you wish, which could take you around new areas that a Disney-specific excursion might not hit up, including unique places to sightsee or shop or scuba dive, etc. And often these third-party excursions are the same ones that Disney works through. It's just going to cost you a lot less to cut out the middleman. Although these third-party excursions are often cheaper, there is one major downside. If your third-party excursion happens to run late, your Disney cruise ship will not wait for you, meaning you'll have to find another way to get back home, and that would put a damper on your trip. But if your Disney excursion runs later than expected, the ship will wait for you until you're safe and sound back on board. So you can book a Disney-owned port excursion the same way you book other extra activities for your Disney cruise. Just log into your Disney account, choose the My Plans option, select the day you want to schedule your port excursion, review and choose from the available opportunities. Then wash, rinse, and repeat as needed. Now, heads up, we have a lot of Disney Cruise Line videos. We have a ton of videos that go really in-depth into a lot of these extra activities and the best ones and the things that you should definitely do. So check out our Cruise Line playlist here on YouTube. We've been on all the ships, we've done all the stuff, and so we're giving you our honest opinion on what's worth the money, what's worth the time, and the best ways to get that stuff done so that you can be really efficient with your trip. I know it's silly to talk about being efficient with your vacation, but there's just so much to do, and if you want to do a lot of it, efficiency is key, my friends. Okay, team, it looks like we're going to need to split up to solve the rest of this case. But don't worry, because I've got a game plan for the babies, the kids, the preteens, the teens, and the adults who are going to be traveling in your group to make sure everyone still has a fun-filled cruise. For the babies and toddlers who fall between the 6 months to 3 years age, you can book your little one a spot in the It's a Small World nursery ahead of your visit, which might be a good idea if the grown-ups want to go check out one of the lounges or enjoy the adults-only pool area or even have a little vacation time to themselves to just sit back on a deck chair and enjoy some sunbathing without having to worry about how the baby's doing. Now, it does cost to book the nursery on the ships, $4.50 per tot per half hour, and for each additional child, $4 per half hour. Prices are subject to change, but keep in mind that there is a 1 hour minimum per reservation. Another thing you want to watch out for, space at the nurseries is limited, so you'll need to book your child's stay as soon as possible, as in right when your activity booking window opens up. But that's a mystery we're going to solve a bit later on for you. For now, let's stick to the game plan. Now, heads up on the nursery though. I booked time in the nursery for my son when he was just a week shy of 3 years old. Now, they will not let your kid go to the next level up if they still are the age that is noted for the nursery. So I will say that 1 week shy of 3 years old was a little old for the nursery. I know that my kid didn't have a great time there. So just a heads up, if you're traveling with a kid who is 2.5, the nursery might be a little bit kind of babyish for them, I guess. So just a heads up on that, and wanted to share my personal experience. But for the kids ages 3 to 12, they're going to be able to visit Disney's Oceaneer Club. Unlike the nursery, the Oceaneer Clubs are free and give your kids the chance to delve into a variety of different Disney immersive areas that could include Marvel and Star Wars, Disney Princesses, Pixie Hollow, and more. Another unique spot for kids to hang out and be creative is the Oceaneer Lab. Here, kids can craft and experiment in a safe environment that promotes the best sides of their imagination. While the Magic, Wonder, Fantasy, and Dream all have the Oceaneer Lab, the Wish actually has an updated version called the Walt Disney Imagineering Lab that features a ride studio where kids can design their own Disney park roller coaster and then take a virtual ride on it. Now, while the Oceaneer Lab and Oceaneer Club are included in the stateroom price, you should sign your kids up for it. So you've got 2 different ways you can do that. You can either register online up to 3 days before your sale date by heading to online check-in page under the Already Booked tab on the DCL website, or you can wait until you board the ship and sign your kids up during an open house on your embarkation day, so the day you board the ship. Open house allows families to check out these clubs all together before the shenanigans begin, but when open house isn't going on, this is a kids-only area. Except for the Oceaneer crew members, of course, who'll keep an eye on your kids and make sure they're having fun and being safe. The preteens, ages 11 to 14, have their own space aboard the Disney ships too, called Edge. This area provides a comfy, cozy spot where tweens can chill with other tweens while playing games and having dance or karaoke parties, or engaging in counselor-led activities, or just hanging out away from their parents for a bit. It's basically their own little mini vacation within a vacation. Registration is not required for Edge, so tweens can just head on over whenever the mood strikes. As for teens, ages 15 to 17, they can check out Vibe, which is professionally chaperoned in a laid-back way that allows teens to still feel as unrestricted and comfortable as possible while still providing them with a good time playing games, listening to music, watching TV, and taking part in activities made solely for their age group. Again, no sign-up required here. Teens can just drop in and vibe. And finally, for the adults, you don't have any specialty clubs, sorry. But you do have a lot of adult exclusive activities to take advantage of. Disney cruises each have an adults exclusive section on the upper deck of the ship, which is the Quiet Cove area. That includes lounge chairs and a bar area, private whirlpool spas, and pools. You might also find that select activities listed on the daily schedule are for 18 and over only. This means that particular trivia game, sketch class, animal towel, folding lesson, etc. will still be similar to the others that aren't 18 and over, meaning it still sticks with the family-friendly tone, but adults will be able to enjoy these sessions by themselves. Don't worry, teens and tweens have activities on the schedule that are just for them too, but the ones without any age restrictions are open for the whole family. Adults can book massage packages in advance on the Disney Cruise Line website. Those range from around $120 to $330 plus, depending on the treatment and how long. But get this, the rainforest rooms at the Senses Spas cost around $39 per day, and these will give you access to a steam bath, a hot steam room, a dry sauna, specialty rain shower experiences, and there are also packages where you can add the rainforest room onto your trip for multiple days. If you want to add a pass for the rainforest room once you're on board, just reach out to one of the crew members at the Senses Spa and Salon on your embarkation day. By the way, all you teens out there, take a load of this. If you're cruising aboard the Disney Dream or Fantasy or Magic, then you'll have access to your very own chill youth spa for teens only. This premium spa within a spa has a unique space with treatment rooms and showers and separate seating areas just for the teen clientele. There's also a menu of services for you, including facials and massages, body treatments, manicures, and pedicures. But just like the Senses Spa, the Chill Spa will cost you extra as well. The Senses Spas also have fitness centers attached to them, which don't cost you anything extra to use. There are a ton of different machines you can use here, from treadmills to weights, even cycling rooms. So if you don't want your cruise to interrupt your workout regimen, it does not have to. Even when you're spending the day exploring Castaway Cay or Lookout Cay, there are still kids, teens, and adult-specific locations that your family can take advantage of too. Scuttle's Cove on Castaway and Sebastian's Cove on Lookout are the kids-only areas where children ages 3 to 12 can splash around in water play areas, dig in the sandy excavation sites, and play games hosted by the youth counselor cast members. Don't worry, these coves are not directly in or near the ocean, so although your kids will still need their swimming suits, you won't have to worry about them taking a deep dive while you're not around. All kiddos who pre-register for the youth clubs on board the ship will be able to go to these coves once you hit dry land, and you can drop your kids off at the coves anytime without a reservation. That being said, these are first come, first serve, so it's better to come earlier rather than later so your kids don't miss out. As for the teens, you've got the teen hideout areas, which are chill parts of the beach where teens can hang and play games and take part in scheduled activities. And the adults can escape over to the Serenity Bay beaches, which include a dedicated dining area, private cabanas for rent, and an overall quiet oasis exclusive to guests 18 years of age and older. Here's an ace detective tip. Typically, you'll be able to disembark onto Lookout or Castaway Cay around 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Now, once your ship has given you the all clear to disembark, that morning rush off the ship can be a bit of a cluster since, again, you'll have to use your key to the world card and ID to get on and off, and lots of people are going to be eager to do just that first thing in the morning in order to get their island day started ASAP. I understand the urge to jump ship immediately and get on with your island day, but don't rush so much that you skip over grabbing a bite to eat on the ship before you head out, because Lookout and Castaway Cay's quick services won't open until around 11 a.m. So you're going to want some fuel in you before that to get your energy up for swimming and exploring. And again, I understand the desire to rush off ship as soon as the all clear is given, but typically you're going to have a solid 8 hours to fully explore these keys. And trust me, you'll be able to do that whether you rush off the ship or not. You might even want to get back on the ship earlier if you wrap up your beach day sooner than expected. This will not only help you skip over the thick line that'll be waiting to get back on board at the end of the day, but you'll also be able to fully explore the ship when there's much lighter crowds to worry about. This can also be the perfect time to ride your ship's water slides and coasters with little to no waits. But on the other hand, there are some benefits to being the first one off the ship. You get your choice of the seating areas on the island. You may get to interact with the characters the soonest without a line. And you just get that little much longer beach time. I get it. So you do you, but those are the pros and cons. Okay, we've got a clue. It's a good one. Look here, this clue will tell you exactly when you can start booking extra excursions and premium activities before you set sail. It's all thanks to your Castaway Club membership status. Now, what's the Castaway Club membership? Much like how other cruise line loyalty programs work, Disney likes to reward their guests with more benefits the more they sail. So, just as soon as you take your first cruise, you're automatically in the Castaway Club. There are 4 tiers to the membership. Silver, for those who've booked 2 to 5 sailings. Gold, 6 to 10 sailings. Platinum, 11 to 25 sailings. And Pearl is 26 and more sailings. Why do these tiers matter though? because they determine how early you can start booking those different premium cruise activities I listed off earlier. For your first cruise, you'll be able to book activities 75 days prior to sailing. And for several of those activities, that should still give you plenty of time to secure those reservations. Those who've sailed with Disney before will get first dibs on these extras. Silver members can book 90 days out. Gold members can book 105 days out. Platinum members can book 120 days out. And Pearl members can book a whopping 123 days out. Very specific. Or you can cheat a little and book a concierge level staterooms. A concierge crew member can book any of those activities for you 130 days out instead, regardless of your membership status. The things that'll book up quickest on the ships are the Royal Court Tea Party, which is offered on every cruise except for the Disney Wish, and lets your family enjoy a spot of tea and entrees alongside several Disney princesses. Kids also get a royal assortment of gifts and goodies at the end of their meal too. On the Disney Wish, you're going to have Olaf's Royal Picnic, which is a similar premium experience to the Royal Court Tea Party, just with that lovable snowman who loves warm hugs instead. Beverage tastings and mixology seminars for all sorts of spirits, including tequila and margarita, chocolate and liquor, wine tastings, champagne, beer, etc., etc. And the most coveted extra of them all, the Castaway Key and Lookout Key cabanas. Disney even admits on their website that booking a private family beach cabana on the Keys can be rough going, and that's because these cabanas aren't just swanky looking, they're also very limited in quantity. Beach cabana rentals for your Castaway or Lookout Key day can be pricey. We're talking a minimum of $520 for a cabana that holds up to 4 guests, while grand cabanas that hold up to 10 guests can break the $1,000 marker. However, if you get a chance to purchase one, you'll have your own personal space for the whole day, along with private beach access, rental items, and all-day concierge services too. Now, I'll be honest, usually the only people who get to book these are concierge room guests, because there's just not enough of them and all those folks want to book them. So if you're not a concierge room guest or maybe a Pearl level Castaway Club member, it's unlikely that you're going to get one of these. But you can sign up for the wait list once you get on the ship and maybe you'll get lucky. I haven't seen it happen, so if it happens to you, let me know. Okay, all this mystery solving has got me working up an appetite. Surprise. How about you? No use trying to put the pieces together while on an empty stomach, so let's take a break to talk about dining aboard the ship. While the theming around each ship's restaurants might vary, depending on which one you're on, every single ship has the same variety of restaurant type. First, you've got your rotational dining, where each evening you'll rotate between 3 main Disney-fied table service restaurants. Your wait staff will also go along with you between restaurants so that they can get to know your family and know your specific preferences. While you don't have to eat at the rotational restaurants if you don't want to, they are included with the price of your stateroom. Plus, they're a whole bunch of fun. Here's an ace detective tip. Just to make things easier on you and the cast members on board, your rotational dining schedule will be predetermined after you select your preferred dining time slot upon booking. You'll be able to find your dining rotation schedule as well as dining times on the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app once you get on board. Your schedule is also going to be printed on your room key card. However, if for some reason you want to switch up your rotational dining schedule, either by switching out which dining room you're at on which night or by trying to get a different dining time slot, make sure to ask about it over at guest services just as soon as you get on the ship. For the most part, switching up your meal lineup shouldn't be too big of a deal, but once that ship takes off, your schedule is set. But adults might prefer to skip one of those rotational dining meals in order to eat at an adults exclusive restaurant, which does cost extra on top of your stateroom price, but it will provide you with more high-end entrees in a semi-formal setting. If you try to book a reservation for one of these premium restaurants and find out they're already all sold out, don't panic just yet. When you board the ship on embarkation day, go straight to that signature restaurant ASAP. There should be a host out front of the restaurant who'll be more than happy to put your name on a walk-up wait list. That way, if more availability does magically appear during the course of your cruise, they'll be able to message you and let you know a table's available. If you want that last-minute chance of dining fancy on the high seas, definitely do that as soon as you get on the ship. While the waitlist won't guarantee a last-minute seat, it does definitely help increase your chances for getting one of those coveted tables, so the earlier, the better. Okay, now let's get back to some of the all-inclusive stuff. Your ship will also have one major food hall with a variety of food stations where you can pick up whatever you want to and however much of it you want. If you're aboard the Disney Wish, that food hall is Marceline Market, but if you're aboard any of the other 4 ships, it's called Cabanas. Near the pools, you'll also be able to grab a quick bite to eat from several little quick service locations that could potentially serve up stuff stuff like pizza, barbecue, tacos, hot dogs, and of course, ice cream. If you don't mind spending extra on a specialty drink like a premium coffee or a cocktail or a Dole Whip float, the ships also have a variety of themed cafes and lounges you can order from throughout the day, though the lounges will switch over to being adults-only hangouts after 9 p.m. if they are in the special bar and lounge zone of the ship. And don't forget about the premium sweets shops. Many Disney cruises offer signature sweet shops with several different cookies, candies, chocolates, cupcakes, sundaes, and plenty of other dessert goodies that are not included with your stateroom cost, so prepare yourself for that extra expense. Here's an ace detective tip. If you want to, you can actually have specialty sundaes from these premium sweet shops pre-ordered and delivered to you during dinner that night. Just in case you want to make your meal extra special and kind of maybe celebrate a birthday or an anniversary, or just, make your table mates jealous. All right, we've now reached the confrontation portion of today's mystery, where we're going to address some of your most common concerns when it comes to the Disney Cruise Line, under the spotlight and everything. And since time is of the essence here, we're going to switch into overdrive to answer these questions as quickly as possible. Question number 1, how much will my cruise cost? Well, your stateroom price is all going to depend on multiple factors, like what ship you're cruising on, how long the ship is going to be out at sea, where your ship's going to be taking you, and what time of year you're sailing. But I'll grab just a few different prices that I'm seeing for select Disney cruises setting sail in 2025 so you can get a good jump-off point to work with. For a 3-night cruise from January 3rd to the 6th aboard the Disney Wonder, which is going to take you to Sydney, Australia, those inside stateroom prices start at $2,548 per person. For a room with a veranda, prices start at $3,028. But if you're wanting to sail concierge, expect to pay between $7,268 and $16,854. That $16K option is for the concierge royal suite, which sleeps up to 7 guests. For a 4-night cruise from March 6th to the 10th aboard the Disney Magic, which will take you to Progreso, Mexico, those inside stateroom prices are at $3,816 per person, but a deluxe stateroom with veranda is going to cost more, around $4,622, and concierge rooms start at $7,654. For a 3-night Halloween on the High Seas themed cruise from September 19th to the 22nd on the Disney Dream, which is taking you to Nassau, inside staterooms start at $2,873, but a deluxe family stateroom with veranda, which sleeps 3 to 5 guests, will cost around $3,287. And if you want to get real bougie during Halloween, you can also book the Concierge Dream Tower Suite, which can sleep up to 8 guests and has a floor-to-ceiling ocean view window for $22,441. That's chump change. And last one for now, if I want to cruise on the brand new Disney Treasure for a Christmas-themed 7-night Western Caribbean cruise from November 29th to December 6th, then an inside stateroom is going to cost you at minimum $7,219. For a room with a veranda, you're looking at prices ranging around $8,476 to $9,077. And for concierge, those prices will further skyrocket, starting at $15,997 and peaking at a whopping $57,048 if you choose to book the Tomorrowland Tower Suite. Question number 2, how do I pay off my stateroom? When you book your cruise, you'll be able to pay it off through what Disney refers to as a flexible payment plan, so you can pay off your total bill before your trip at a pace that's comfortable and convenient for you. For most stateroom categories, your paid-in full date is 90 days before setting sail. But don't forget, your stateroom needs to be paid off 100% before you're allowed to check in or start booking any extra activities you might want to tack onto your itinerary. Question number 3, when should you arrive on embarkation day? You'll be able to select your port arrival time during the online check-in process. That starts 30 days before sailing. Now, the earlier you complete check-in, the more port arrival times will be available for you, with the earliest port arrival time usually around 11 a.m. Now, the earlier you can board the ship, the sooner you can start getting acquainted with your new home at sea and start chowing down on those all-inclusive eats. Heads up, though, that your room probably isn't going to be ready till about 1 or 2 p.m., even if you get on the ship earlier, so bring everything in your carry-on that you're going to need for those couple of hours. Question number 4, what if I get lost? Believe me, we've all been there. Remember how I told you the staterooms can be a maze? Depending on where your room is located, it might be tricky to retrace your steps and find it again, especially on your first couple of days at sea. That's why it's not a bad idea to bring some decorative magnets to display on your stateroom door. They can help you easily identify your room when you come across it. But only magnets. Don't be using stickers, otherwise you'll get in big trouble. Now, if you're still getting overwhelmed trying to find your way back to your room, just look down. The carpets in the stateroom hallways generally feature stars or Mickey heads if you're cruising on the Wish. If the stars or Mickeys are pointing straight, meaning the peak of the star and the ears of good old Mick are pointing forward in the direction you're walking, then you're walking forward. If the stars are not pointing straight, then you're headed aft. And on the Wish, you can look down to find out which floor you're on. On decks 6 and 7, you may spot pumpkins or snowflakes, since those floors are themed to Cinderella and Frozen. Decks 10 and 11 have seashells for The Little Mermaid and Moana. Question number 5. The night before you leave, don't cry, you're gonna make me cry. You'll need to have suitcases tagged and outside your door by 10:45 p.m. if you want them picked up and unloaded off the ship for you. Now, you don't have to do this, but if you don't, you'll have to keep your luggage with you and roll it down to breakfast in the morning or off the ship when you get off. Now, your final breakfast will take place at the last rotational restaurant you experienced the night before, just minus all the extra flair and entertainment. And then it's, as the Von Trapp family once said, so long, farewell. Debarking can take a while because it's a lot like boarding a flight. However, if you want to get off the ship faster, keep your luggage with you and leave as soon as the ship is cleared customs. That's usually around 7:30 or 8 a.m. That way, you can just skip that final breakfast and jump ship ASAP, which you may want to do if you've got an afternoon flight to catch. I tend to always do that. I do the express debarkation or whatever it's called, just because there aren't any lines, and the lines tend to get really long when everybody's getting off the ship after breakfast. Okay, we now have all the components needed to wrap up this case once and for all, but it's going to be up to you to finally close the book on the case of the perfect Disney cruise. Are you up for the challenge? Of course you are. And don't forget, if you need a cheat sheet to help you while solving your mystery, you can pick up our free Disney Cruise Line guide over at disneyfoodblog.com/cruise planning. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.